on Global TV News Express. President Tinubu arrives in Djibouti to annihilate Awujale. In business, Nigeria clinches $20 billion in China deal to boost the local industry. On the foreign scene, Kenya protest leader faces terror charges amid outcry. And in sports, Nigeria's Super Falcons to play South Africa in mouth-watering WAFCON 2024 semi-final. Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Uyi Agmofwebe, reminding all of us that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. President Bola Tinubu has arrived in Djibouti in Ogun State to personally attend the 8th day Fidel prayers in honor of the late Oba Sikiru Kayode Adetona, the Awujale of Djibuland, who passed away after more than 6 decades on the throne. The Reverend monarch, widely celebrated for his wisdom, unwavering courage and contributions to Nigeria's traditional and political landscape, was mourned by top dignitaries, including royal fathers, governors, and national leaders who gathered to pay their final respects. The solemn event not only marked the end of an era for Djibouti, but also served as a reflection on the monarch's enduring legacy of integrity, candor, and fearless leadership. We'll keep you abreast of the development as the president continues his visit to Djibouti. Imo State Governor Senator Hope Uzodimma has called for bold constitutional reforms to correct regional imbalance and strengthen Nigeria's unity. He made this known at the zonal public hearing on the constitution review for Imo and Abia states. Our correspondent Marachi Ibe has details.
The hearing in Owerri, organized by the 10th House of Representatives, brought together key stakeholders and community leaders. Governor Uzodimma listed 4 main demands: new state for the southeast, recognition of place of birth for indigenship, rotation of presidency among Nigeria's 6 geopolitical zones, and the creation of state police to improve local security.
For the constitutional entrenchment of rotational presidency, not along the ambiguous north and the south divide. Since we have 6 geopolitical zones, it should be included into our constitution.
In his welcome address, Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu, who chairs the House Committee on Constitution Review, urged citizens to share ideas that will help build a stronger and fairer nation.
Let us remember, constitutional reform is not an event, but a process. The bills we debate today will be debated in parliamentary plenary, harmonized with the Senate, and transmitted to the state houses of assembly for final approval. Only with your continuous engagement, your vigilance, your advocacy, can we ensure that these reforms are not just passed, but implemented.
Representing the Abia governor, Deputy Governor Ikechukwu Emeto said, Abia does not see the need for a new state, but wants the existing ones to work better for the people.
If the 2023 governorship election was conducted with the template used in magically find independent sources of financing the new states outside what currently exists, not share the optimism of those promoting the idea of adding new states to the current 36 states structure.
Civil rights advocate Chris Uche summarized 86 bills before the committee, covering local government autonomy, devolution of power, electoral reforms, and stronger human rights protection.
The legislative efforts to address governance challenges, promote inclusivity, and enhance administrative efficiency in Nigeria.
Labor unions, the TUC, and the civil society groups also presented fresh recommendations for equity and grassroots development. The Deputy Speaker assured that all contributions will guide the 10th House of Representatives as it works to amend the 1999 Constitution to reflect the hopes of Nigerians. From Owerri, Amarachi Ibe reporting for Global TV News.
Oh, thank you, Amarachi. In a related development, stakeholders in the Southwest have renewed calls for constitutional reforms, advocating true federalism, state policing, and devolution of powers. These demands were made during the Southwest Zonal Public Hearing on the review of Nigeria's 1999 Constitution held in Lagos State. Anyete Patrick has more.
Calls for a more equitable and secure Nigeria echoed across the Southwest as stakeholders from Lagos, Ogun, and Oyo states gathered in Lagos for the Constitution Review public hearing. Organized by the House of Representatives Committee on Constitution Review, the session focused on pressing regional concerns, including the need to entrench true federalism and devolve more powers to the states. Representing Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Deputy Governor Obafemi Hamzat stressed the urgent need for state police to tackle rising insecurity at the grassroots.
Trust, we embark on this very critical process of reviewing the Constitution. We must know that it will not be an easy task, and it shouldn't be, because we are all different, from southwest to northeast, so we have different realities. But we must be guided by the principle of inclusiveness, equity, and justice. It is crucial that we listen to everyone, men, women, young, and old.
Also lending his voice, Speaker of the Ogun State House of Assembly, Honorable Oludaisi Olusegun Elemide, called for constitutional recognition of traditional rulers for their role in local governance and conflict resolution.
We stand by giving our traditional rulers roles in governance. We stand by that.
Civil society groups and public figures, including veteran actress Joke Silva, advocated increased women's representation in politics and leadership positions.
We don't due respect is when we have the other 50% of the nation in decision-making positions.
Chairman of the Constitution Review Committee for the Southwest Zonal Center A, Honorable Ibrahim Isiaka, assured participants of the committee's commitment to fairness, inclusiveness, and transparency throughout the review process.
We are dedicated to ensuring that this process is transparent and that all stakeholders remain informed and engaged every step of the way.
Despite the complexities of constitutional amendments, participants say now is the time to prioritize justice and restructure the system to reflect Nigerians' current realities. Anyete Patrick, Global Television News.
National Assembly correspondent Anyete Patrick, we appreciate you for your reporting. Let's turn to other stories for you. Suspended Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan has declared her intention to resume legislative duties at the National Assembly on Tuesday, July 22, citing the Federal High Court ruling that invalidated her suspension and asserting that the decision remains binding despite a pending appeal filed by Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Speaking during a training event in her Kogi Central Constituency in Kogi State, she emphasized that while her suspension has limited her ability to sponsor bills and motions, it did not stop her from engaging her constituents and facilitating developmental projects. The Labour Party caucus in the Senate has issued a strong condemnation of Governor Monday Okpebholo of Edo State over his reported threats warning former presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, not to enter Edo State, describing it as an affront to Nigeria's constitutionally guaranteed freedom of movement. In a joint statement signed by Senators Victor Ume, Ireti Kingibe, Tony Nwoye, and Ezia Oke, the lawmakers called on the Inspector General of Police and Director General of the Department of State Service to urgently investigate and act on the matter before it escalates into a security crisis. They insisted that such executive recklessness must not be tolerated in a democracy, and one that no individual, regardless of office, has the right to restrict the lawful movement of fellow Nigerians within their own country. Some members of the opposition have recently joined forces to form the African Democratic Congress (ADC). The African Democratic Congress, once a relatively quiet player in the national politics, is now raising the stakes against the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC). Can the ADC defeat the APC in 2027? In this report, our correspondent Ubon Osoro asked citizens of their opinion about the new party.
Nigeria's political history is filled with dramatic power shifts, from the dominance of the PDP for 16 years to the emergence of the APC in 2015. Now eyes are on whether another shift is coming. In July 2025, opposition heavyweights, including former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, Labour Party's Peter Obi, former Senate President David Mark, and former governors Ralph Arabiola and Rotimi Amechi, united under the ADC platform. The coalition chose ADC as its vehicle to challenge APC's grip on power in 2027, citing the need to prevent one-party dominance and to present a united front. David Mark now serves as interim national chairman, while Arabiola as interim secretary. Founded in 2005, the ADC had previously maintained a modest presence in national politics, but this recent coalition has breathed new life into the party, turning it into a centerpiece of opposition strategy ahead of the next elections.
It's not possible for them to unseat the sitting government. What are the reasons? This is a government, the candidate, which before now, he was not in the system like being in the government, but he find his way to become the sitting president. So you know, there is a way the Nigerian politics work. It is not possible you just come and unseat a sitting president.
Observers say the move mirrors the 2015 alliance that brought APC to power. The question is, can history repeat itself?
I don't think they will be able to win APC, because when a man who has not been in the seat can be able to win and come over, now that he's sitting, I don't think they will win him, because he has every power to put everything in place as soon as it concerns his growth in the office.
If they do the right thing, I believe they will collect it. What is there that they're supposed to zone it, the place supposed to be, that is south. It's turn of south. It's 8 years. So if they zone it to the south, understand, let's assume that they give it to the south, south will run for it. But if we go to north, definitely they will lose it.
As preparations for 2027 intensify, the real battle may be between the old guards and a united opposition seeking to disrupt the status quo. Ubon Osoro for Global TV.
From Monk's reports now, let's turn to other stories for you. What leaders, activists and citizens have converged in Abuja to reaffirm their commitment to democratic values in Nigeria, calling for transparency, accountability and inclusive governance on the global stage. Samuel Odi reports.
Ahead of International Conference on Democracy in a show of unity aimed rising global authoritarianism, heads of state, civil society leaders, and human rights advocates called for urgent collaborative actions to defend fundamental freedom, uphold transparent governance, and restore public trust in domestic institutions worldwide.
What must African democracy look like in the age of digital disruption, youthful surges, and global uncertainty? How do we forge robust institutions, build credible elections, and entrench accountability, not rhetorically, but in deeds and not dollars? How do we ensure that our economic systems foster sovereignty, that our social contracts are vibrant, and that every African voice, women, youth, rural, urban, finds her place in our democracy?
The program director, Godson Nwankwo, said African leaders owe it to the young people who comprises of the vibrant heart of society to build institutions that are both inclusive and enduring. He further stated that African youths also owe it to the elders to honor the wisdom that has carried Africans thus far, and to our children the promise of a continent emancipated from dependency.
When we have this conversation, we realize that Our founding fathers faced this same challenge. And the vision of the founding fathers that came together when they formed the AU was to open up Africa, to unite Africa so that we can be united among ourselves. We are a continent of 1.4 billion people with a potential market of $3 trillion. But because of these fragmented borders and closed systems, we cannot explore this potential.
With present challenges and hopeful possibilities ahead, this conference stands as both a reflection of relying points for the future of democracy. Samuel Odi reporting for Global Television News.
We appreciate you, Samuel Odi. The People's Democratic Party's governorship candidate in Anambra State, Jude Israel Nwafor, has narrowly escaped an assassination attempt after being ambushed and shot by unidentified gunmen while returning from an appointment in the Wuse 2 area of Abuja, Nigeria's capital. Now hospitalized and awaiting surgery to remove bullets lodged in his body, Israel Nwafor recounted the harrowing ordeal from his hospital bed, stating that 2 other individuals with him were shot during the attack. This is Global Television. You're watching the live broadcast of News Express. When the rest of the news returns shortly, Nigeria's Super Falcons to play South Africa in mouth-watering WAFCON 2024 semi-final. Those details coming, plus business and foreign stories on the other side of this broadcast. Please do stay with us. The second part of this news broadcast now returns with business. Nigeria has secured a whopping $20 billion in investment commitments from Chinese partners as part of ongoing efforts to revive the country's ailing industrial base and reduce over-dependence on imports. The agreements announced during the China-Nigeria Production Capacity and Investment Cooperation Forum in Beijing cover key sectors such as power, agriculture, and manufacturing, and were brokered under the leadership of Trade Minister Doris Aniti. These deals are expected to create thousands of jobs, stimulate local production, and support President Tinubu's broader strategy to achieve economic stability through diversified foreign partnerships and infrastructure development. And coming closer to home, Kaduna State Governor Uba Sani has inaugurated a multi-stakeholder committee to oversee the fair and transparent distribution of over 300 truckloads of fertilizer to 100,000 farmers across the state as part of efforts to boost food production and rural livelihoods. According to Agriculture Commissioner Murtala Dabo, the distribution will be closely monitored at both state and local levels, with the committee comprising representatives from civil society, traditional and religious institutions, security agencies, labor unions, and anti-corruption bodies. Smallholder farmers will receive 2 bags of fertilizer for free, while commercial farmers will benefit from a 40% subsidy under the state's new Agriculture Resilience Initiative. Let's move the news beyond our shores now. Prominent Kenyan activist Boniface Mwangi has been arrested and charged with terrorism-related offenses, a move that has triggered outrage from civil rights groups and political opposition who argue that the charges are trumped up and aimed at silencing protest voices. Mwangi, who played a key role in organizing the June demonstrations against the government's controversial tax hikes, is accused by authorities of coordinating attacks on state infrastructure, though no concrete evidence has been presented publicly. His detention has sparked fears of a broader crackdown on dissent in Kenya, with rights defenders calling for his immediate release and protection of free speech in the country. Prince Al-Walid bin Khalid Al Saud, famously known as the Sleeping Prince, has passed away in Saudi Arabia after spending nearly 19 years in coma caused by a traumatic brain injury from a 2005 car accident. The 36-year-old royal had become a symbol of hope and heartbreak across the Arab world, with his family and supporters clinging to faith and occasional minor movements that suggested possible signs of recovery. His death has drawn widespread mourning as tributes pouring for a young life caught in a rare and tragic state of suspended existence that captivated millions over the years. Quite sad. At least 14 people have been confirmed dead and 12 others are missing after relentless downpours triggered widespread flooding and landslides across South Korea, devastating homes, submerging roads and displacing nearly 10,000 residents, with significant damage reported to farmland and livestock. Hard-hit areas like Yeopeng and Sancheong witnessed entire villages swallowed by mud and debris, comprising dramatic rescue efforts and an urgent response from President Lee Jae-myung, who declared special disaster zones and ordered an all-hands recovery operation. Although rainfall has shifted northward with Seoul now on alert, the nation is also preparing for an intense heat wave expected to follow, compounding the suffering of affected communities. Let's take you to sports now to find some excitement. Defending champions South Africa have set up a high-stake semi-final showdown against Nigeria's Super Falcons at the 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations after defeating Senegal 4-1 on penalties following a goalless 120 minutes in Uya. Bayana, who had previously lost 2 WAFCON finals to Nigeria, including a penalty shootout defeat in 2018, finally broke their shootout curse with clinical precision to earn a historic win and bulk a spot in the final tour. Nigeria, chasing their 10th WAFCON crown under the Mission X campaign, demolished Zambia 5-0 in their quarterfinal and will now face their fiercest rivals in a match set to light up Casablanca on Tuesday, with the new winner advancing to face either hosts Morocco or Ghana. Liverpool are reportedly on the verge of sealing a blockbuster €90 million deal for French forward Hugo Ekitike, who currently plays for Bundesliga side Eintracht Frankfurt and has been on the radar of several top European clubs. The 22-year-old striker, admired for his explosive speed, clinical finishing and versatility in attack, is seen by Reds management as a key addition to their squad as they look to strengthen ahead of the new season. Talks between Liverpool and Ekitike's camp are said to be at an advanced stage, with personal terms almost finalized, even as Newcastle's late attempt to hijack the move was firmly turned down. Ukraine's Olenska Usyk has delivered a masterclass performance at London's Wembley Stadium, knocking out Britain's Daniel Dubois in the 5th round to become the undisputed heavyweight world champion. The 38-year-old southpaw, who now holds the WBA, WBC, WBO and IBF titles, floored his much younger opponent with a devastating left hook just 1 minute and 52 seconds into the round, capping a dominant display that extended his professional record to 24 wins with no losses. Quite fantastic now, isn't it? Let's now end Global TV News Prime with a look at some of our big stories. President Bola Tinubu has arrived to Ijebu-Ode to personally attend the 8th-day Fidal prayers held in honor of the late Oba Sikiru Kayode Adetona, the Awujale of Ijebuland, who passed away after more than 6 decades on the throne. In business, Nigeria has secured a whopping $20 billion in investment commitments from Chinese partners as part of ongoing efforts to revive the country's ailing industrial base and reduce overdependence on imports. On the foreign scene, prominent Kenyan activist Boniface Owangi has been arrested and charged with terrorism-related offenses, a move that has triggered outrage from civil rights groups and political opposition, who argue that the charges are trumped up and aimed at silencing protest voices. And finally, in sports, we told you defending champions South Africa have set up a high-stake semi-final showdown against Nigeria's Super Falcons at the 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations after defeating Senegal 4-1 on penalties following a goalless 120 minutes in Uya. And that's News Express for you. Thank you for watching. Remember that we are on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. Follow us across all social media platforms using the handles now showing on your screen. I am Muyi Agmofwegwe. Thank you for watching and see you again.